Welcome to WERKS. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you do, please like, subscribe, and comment.
But here in Skagway, we are powered by hydroelectric power, and we have been ever since 1902. We actually got hydroelectric power before New York City did, so that's pretty cool. I mean, we have a lot smaller of a grid to be working with, but still. Now, we got our hydroelectric power supply from up top this mountain, from a lake called Goat Lake. And we have a pipe that's coming down the entire mountain that's given us that supply, right? Now the pipe is a very light blue color. It's about 3 feet in diameter. You can see it from the Klondike Highway over there very clearly. However, the section that you can see from the train here has been deemed so unsightly that they tried to camouflage it. So I don't know. You guys let me know if you're able to see it. It's going to be out on our right. But we're looking for that because that's going to be our signal that there's a waterfall coming up right after that. Now we're going to be able to see that waterfall for about 2 seconds. That's just we'll see the waterfall right there. This is called Pitchfork Falls. Again, you're going to see it for like 2 seconds. That's just a warm up for a bigger, better waterfall we're going to be able to see a little bit later. Oh my goodness, I couldn't even see it. Do you see that? Wow, what a good job. I just don't even know why they tried to camouflage it. You know, it's not that bad. Anyway, we're coming around the bend here, and we're going to see that waterfall for literally 2 seconds. So, here's the video. And there it is, Pitchfork Falls. And there it goes. Now, of course, that waterfall comes cascading down the mountain below the tracks, and you're able to see a beautiful view of it from the Klondike Highway. We are going to be able to see a similar view of a waterfall that's across the valley at the end of this straightaway over here. I'll be pointing that out to you guys. Look at that. So both the highway and the railroad, we got our equal view of waterfalls. Alright, now the next thing we're looking for is that memorial that I told you guys about. Those two of the guys that died on an accident while working on this railroad here. So these two guys, their names were Maurice Dunn and Al Janot. And they were responsible for blasting out a 500-ton piece of granite from up top this mountain here. So they went up there, they put their blasting powder in, but they didn't quite do their calculations correctly. And, well, that 500-ton piece of granite blasted out right from out top the mountain, on top of their heads. So those two guys were squished right beneath that 500-ton piece of granite. Maurice Dunn and Al Janot, yeah, they're a part of this mountain now. So that's the thing, they weren't sure how to memorialize these guys, right? Well, they wanted to move the piece of granite, but they thought it would be a little bit disrespectful to the bodies that were now sitting underneath that piece of granite, right? So, they just stuck a black cross on top, wrote their names on it, and called it a day. Speaking of, like I said, Skagway's very good at naming things. We got a black cross on top of a rock, and it's called Black Cross Rock. And that's going to be up here in a minute. Now, Michael J. Keating, he took very detailed notes while he was working on this railroad, and that's how we know that these two guys, they had 2 horses with them as well while they were working on this piece of granite, right? So unfortunately, those 2 horses did not make it either, part of this mountain. Now those 2 horses, their names were Acorn and Butternut, 2 types of squash. Alright, anyway, that's going to be right around these trees here. Nah, the horses were fine, don't worry. Well, those horses specifically were, not the rest of the ones that went on the Dead Horse Trail. Alright, there's that black cross right down there. You guys see that right at the bottom? And they have the names written on it, Maurice Dunn and Al Janot right in the front there. Doing temperature-wise. You want me to open a window, shut a window? Is it a little warm? Same as practice up here. No, that's too much for you guys. I think they have a heater on in the back, that's why. Alright. Well, that waterfall I was telling you about is going to come up right after that. Now, for a while, we were just using this sign as our signal that Bridalveil Falls is coming up afterwards. However, we found out recently that that sign is named after a guy who was working on this railroad. His name was Hugh Foy. All right, and he was the head foreman appointed by Michael J. Heaney for quite a while working on this railroad. Now, one of the stories associated with Hugh Foy is pretty entertaining. Now, this involves one of the characters that's buried in the Gold Rush Cemetery. And one of those characters, his name is Soapy Smith. Now, he was our town con man and villain back in the day. And picture one of those cartoon, villains that you get in like late 18 or 1900s cartoons or something like that. You know what I'm talking about? Like in 1900s. Soapy Smith. What'd you say? Yeah, there you go. That's Soapy Smith. Smarmy mustache. There you go. That's Soapy Smith. Now, once he got to Skagway, I'm just telling you guys about him. But he had a bunch of gang members that were running around. And if you recall, Michael J. Heaney did not allow gambling for the guys who were working on this railroad. But Soapy Smith saw this as a great opportunity to make some money off of the guys who were working on this railroad. So he sent one of his gang members up here to start a gambling tent. And honestly, the railroad workers loved it. They didn't have much to do. They were camping up here for weeks or months at a time, right? So they would head to the gambling tent, spend all the money that they just made while working on this railroad. Now, Michael J. Heaney, of course, was not happy. So he sent his head foreman, Hugh Foy, to get this gambling tent off the mountain. Now, Hugh Foy approached Soapy Smith's gang member, and he said, hey, you gotta get this tent out of here, all right? Michael J. Heaney is not happy. And as you can imagine, he was not met with any kind of welcome. Soapy Smith's gang member said, I'm not getting my gambling tent out of here, all right? I'm making a lot of money off of these guys. No way. So Hugh Foy went to Michael J. Heaney and he said, listen, I tried. He doesn't want to leave. And Michael J. Heaney said, I don't care. You gotta get him out of there. So the next day, Hugh Foy came back. He was a little more confident today, a little more stern. And he said, all right, Soapy Smith's gang member, you gotta get this gambling tent out of here or there will be consequences. All right, Soapy Smith's gang member said, there will be consequences. Yeah, sure, all right, what are you gonna do to me? No, I'm not getting my gambling tent out of here. So Hugh Foy went back to the drawing board, and there's that Foy sign for you. And the third day, he came back to Soapy Smith's gang member, and he said, hey, you gotta get this gambling tent out of here, all right? Or else that big piece of granite is gonna come off that mountain and right on top of your head. And I'll tell you how this story ends right after we look at this waterfall, right? There's gonna be a clearing in the trees. You're gonna see it for about 5 to 7 seconds. It's gonna be right across the valley, and we can already see it. There it is. So this is called Bridalveil Falls. Now the legend behind Bridalveil Falls is that if you take your newly engaged love, and stand under the midst of the Bridalveil Falls, your union will be blessed forever, right? Tell that to my dad's ex-wife. I mean, no, they didn't stand under the mist of Bridalveil Falls. That's why I didn't work out. All right, and there she is, Bridalveil Falls. Looking as majestic as ever. And if you look up to the top where the Klondike Highway is, you can see where it starts. So that's kind of the view we got of Pitchfork Falls. And that's all they can see of Bridalveil Falls. I was talking about Hugh Foy, right? Alright, so he came up to Soapy Smith's gang member and he said, you gotta get this tent out of here or there will be consequences. That 500-ton piece of granite, we already knew what happened with Maurice Dunn's Mountain. No, but that piece of granite's gonna come right down on top of that mountain, on top of your head. He had already sent some of the railroad workers up there, right, to put some blasting powder in and prepare. And Soapy Smith's gang member, one more time, I imagine there was some more colorful language that was used back in the day, but he refused. So Hugh Foy said, all right, light them up, boys, and they blasted that piece of granite right on top, and it came down on top of that camp. By the way, you can go out on the platforms if you want, at any time now. Alright, there's that bridge right up there, and that, folks, is where we are heading on our trip today. So we're going to go deep into the valley, we're going to turn the whole train around, and we're going to be heading up the side of that mountain over there. That bridge, a lot safer than it looks, I promise.
Wow. I see the bridge.
Alright, now, we got a little bit of time until I'm pointing anything else, but while you guys are staring at the views, I would love to tell you a little bit about our town conman and villain, Sophie Smith. Now, he was born to the name Jefferson Randolph Smith, and he was born in Georgia to a very well-off family. So he would have had the opportunity to get a higher education, become a doctor or a lawyer or something like that. However, at a very young age, the age of 17.
Thank you for watching WERKS, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did like the video, please give a thumbs up, subscribe for future videos, and comment. Thanks again.